What a day. What a week. What the last few weeks for the Maple Leafs, Leafs Nation, everybody who follows the team. It just never gets dull, this club and this organization. It never does. And today I've never seen anything like it. But anyway, I don't think any of us have, at least not in this format. But whew, lots to unpack. See what happens. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Ryan from Seaway Sports Lounge. And tonight, this is my special edition unpacking and review of what happened today with Kyle Dubas and the Maple Leafs. In this video, I'm going to go over basically what happened today. I'm going to discuss a little bit of what happened in the past to lead up to this point. And then I'm going to give, there's obviously a little bit more news too. There was a few other announcements afterwards that occurred. And then, of course, I'm going to give you my view of what I thought and what I think as a fan and hockey fan in general. So, with that, let's just get right into it. So, Dubas and the Maple Leafs parted ways. Now, that's a fancy word for saying fired, in my opinion. But anyway, because he was still under contract till June 30th of this year. What I'm going to talk about right now is just the background of what happened to lead up to here. So he didn't have a contract extension signed last year. The board felt that they didn't want to do it. Shanahan did, and as according to Shanahan today in his press conference, he wanted to get him under a deal. The board said no. Anyway, so he worked without one all this year. It was his final year, as I said. Anyway, Shanahan kept praising him and telling him what a good job he's doing, and he was doing good work for Toronto. He was doing good. Like he improved the team. He gave trades and all that we saw. I mean, everybody knows what the Leafs did this year. Anyway, they tried to get him a new contract. At least Shanahan did anyway. And as I said, he vouched for him. He vouched for him, and around March they had a framework deal in place. Shanahan got something that would be what they felt would be proper, and they passed along to Dubas, and Dubas agreed to work towards something final. Now, this is with what I understood from the press conference. Please keep that in mind as I explain it, just in case I forget anything, you know. So basically, he worked towards something final. That was the plan. So everything was moving along as it was expected. And it was no fanfare as of Kyle Dubas's request. He did not want to be a distraction to the Leafs' run up to the playoffs and into the playoffs itself with his contract. And he did state that last year at the beginning of this year too. He didn't want anything to happen. But the Leafs sent him an offer and he kept saying that he wanted to remain a Maple Leaf. So in Shanahan's eyes, it didn't appear that there was a problem. He was gonna stay with the Leafs and a deal was done and we move on. But as we saw, no, that didn't happen. Then things started to shift. So the Leafs got bumped out in 5 games in the second round, as we know. It was kind of quiet for a little while. And then there was some like other things too were happening. Like Dubas was reacting very like emotionally towards things going on in the playoff run, which he normally never did. He was usually pretty stoic behind the general manager's booth there, but he didn't. He was acting erratically. He was starting to throw water bottles and yelling at fans and cursing at fans. I mean, they do it, but to me, that's a little unprofessional. But that's just my opinion. But he was just getting into the game, I guess. But he was acting unusual at first. And then after this Monday press conference that rolled around earlier this week, as I said in my previous video, he looked very strange, very weird, very nervous. Like he was trying to speak, but he didn't really have much. He wasn't able to keep it together almost, in my opinion. He was having a hard time. And he probably because he's an emotional guy to start with, but and then he played this role, this thing about saying about his family and how hard it was, and he had to talk to them and he played that card. That was what the narrative at the beginning of all this week was to all Leafs fans and all the media. So most of us, if not all of us, thought, okay, that happens, right? Toronto is the one of the hotbed markets of the NHL, and it's one, if not the most microscoped one right now because of the fact of how poorly their performances have been in the playoffs. But anyway, we didn't think much of it. Thought, okay, well, this is it, but still was a little different. Apparently, Shanahan told him not to do this press conference. Right there, I mean, this is what the president says in his eyes, but he said not to do it, and he did. And of course, we all know what he said. But apparently, after that was done, according to Shanahan, a new contract came back to Shanahan and the Maple Leafs from Dubas's agent, which the numbers were very different, different conditions, different everything. So Shanahan stated that this is the first time that he probably may not be the GM of the Maple Leafs. And he sat on it and slept on it overnight. This morning, after waking up and driving into the office, I guess he went straight to the practice center and told him that he's not being renewed, which in essence means he's fired. And having that, and they just said, no, we're not going to do it. We're not going to renew you. So that's what happened today and all the way up to there. Other news that happened in the Maple Leafs organization is Jason Spezza, who was a special assistant to Kyle Dubas, resigned this afternoon as well after the announcement was done. Why he chose didn't say, or at least I didn't read it. But I'm assuming it's because he wanted to work with Dubas, and now that Dubas is gone, well, he's not going to stick around. So Jason Spetz is no longer with the organization. Also, in other news, the Maple Leafs have fired all of their coaching staff in the Marlies. Now, if anyone follows AHL hockey, the Marlies were in the conference final, and I guess they got swept out, or I'm pretty sure they got swept out this in their playoff round. The MLSC felt to relieve all of them of their duties. Shanahan said Dubas is gone because he offered a new deal after basically not accepting the one he got, and for other reasons. They let go of all the Marlies coaches, and they let go, and Jason Spezza called it quits as well. So the only people left in the organization of power is Sheldon Keefe, the head coach of the Leafs, and all the head coaching staff, the players, and Brendan Pridham, and anyone else that's in the assistant GM plus that. Here's my view on it. As a fan, it's quite a lot to take in at once. I had a suspicion something was going to happen big in Toronto's organization because I thought it was going to be on the players' side, and I think it's still going to be on the players' side as well. I don't think it's not just the front office. I think there will be changes in the players at some point. Now, absolutely, who knows what's going to happen though? You have a new GM, and apparently Shanahan wants an experienced GM. That's going to be something he's looking for. And well, he had one, and unfortunately, he felt that it was a better fit with Kyle Dubas over Lou Lamoriello. So now he has to wear that, and now he has to go out and find someone else who's an experienced GM. So that's his deal that he has to work. They need to find an experienced GM. Brendan Pridham will be probably remaining with the team for now to run the team while they go out and find someone, whether it's him who's the choice or somebody else. My guess it'll be somebody else because they want something. As for Sheldon Keefe and the coaching staff, now with the new GM, it's like anything else. The GM picks their coaches. As far as I'm concerned, Keefe is done as coach of the Maple Leafs. My opinion, of course, he's still the coach otherwise for now. As for other people within the organization, remains to be seen what the new GM will do and whomever that may be, but complete upside down organization right now. It's it's a it's not what I expected in terms of the way it went down. I expected something to happen. I did think some changes, and maybe Dubas may not be back, but indications for a while show that he was, but clearly what do I know? I'm just a fan. So anyway, decision was made, and that was it. And that's what happens sometimes. You think you know, and you don't know. So anyway, the Maple Leafs made their call. It's going to be something else to see this summer. The timing of this, it depends on what the new GM feels. Austin Matthews, I don't think the GM choice is going to really change that much. I think if Matthews wants to remain a Leaf, as it was said on Kipper and Bourne earlier today, I don't think I agree with them. I don't think it matters who the GM is. I think the money in the contract is still the same, regardless of whichever GM is decided. But I do believe that Matthews will be retained long term. As for the other guys, that's up to the GM coming. Who knows what he's going to decide? And he could blow up this whole core and completely gut this team for all we know. My guess is they won't because they do have some good pieces to keep, but a retool will absolutely be happening. But anyway, quite the day. Lots to unpack. There'll be more videos to come up as I watch these events unfold. Certainly unexpected, but it is something that it's going to be one crazy summer and well into next year. So the culture could be completely different, which I think is what part of what this is about. So we'll have to see. We'll see what happens. So anyway, let it go from here. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what we're doing with our channel, please hit like or subscribe. If you like to get more notifications, hit the notification bell. And with that, we'll talk to you soon and see you in the next video.